day, every moment of my life. I got a brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment of my life. Used to be misery was my full-time job. Weekends and holidays I would play. Then I saw the little ones, 24 hours of having fun, and I knew that I was born to live that way. I got a brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment of my life. I got a brand new occupation, and it's to live in celebration every day, every moment of my life. I used to only giggle when the time was right, when the proper people gave me their okay. Then I saw when it came to cheer, this world needed some pioneers. Now I let myself be joyful every day. I got a brand new occupation, as a living celebration every day, every moment of my life. I got a brand new occupation, as a living celebration every day, every moment, every day, every moment, every day, every moment of my life. Good morning.
Oh, we are so glad to have Robert back. Thank you, Robert.
He walks, he talks, he plays.
The flu didn't get him after all. Almost, though. Welcome to Unity. We're so glad to have you here on this kind of cloudy last day of November. Boy, hadn't it been funny? We've had every other day. We've had wonderful sunshine, a little cloud. So that's the way the fall goes. And we're getting into winter and getting into Advent. And oh my God, Mary Jane and crew and Sandy. I think we may have worn Sandy out. I don't know. But anyway, they worked all last week getting our tree up, our beautiful entrance, all the touches you see around here. Thank you so much. And there is the memory tree. We've had this for several years. And there's balls back there if you want to commemorate anyone that we've in your life that's been important, someone you've lost, and please put that on the memory tree. That would be wonderful. Well, we've sort of taken a holiday break before we rev up in December, so not as much has been happening this week, but we are so glad to have Chris Johnson speaking again. Now, Chris and I came to Unity in 2001, and Chris has been through many transitions here, too. And he's always been an important speaker during these transitions. So I'm really glad that you're going to share with us today, Chris. And I may mention that Chris is, since 2008, there's been a steady group of here, the Oneness Movement. And that's here every Tuesday night. And if you want a special blessing, it's always available to us. It's just a beautiful space to be in on Tuesday night. And I didn't put this up because Mary Jane would have killed me. But many times we've had this wonderful banner, many paths, one God. And at Unity, like with Frank Crean, we've had Signs of Mine with Chris, we've had Oneness Movement. We're always Unity at core. But Charles Fillmore was open to studying many paths as well. And so today is a good day to remind ourselves of that we all come together in oneness. So I just wanted to remind you. Now, Mary Jane, I'll put it, you'll allow me? Okay, all right. Well, good. We'll just have that up there. Okay, thank you. So Well, now let us greet each other.
All right, this next song is actually one that can be found in our hymnals, which have been hidden away, but some people might know it. So if you know it, sing it with us. Love, love, love is the answer. Love is the answer. Love is the way. Love, love, love is the answer. Love is the answer. Love is the way. Love or joy, can't go wrong.
So now as we get into our service, I want to remind you of the Christ candle, which is already lit. It's always lit inside of us. We are always in our Christ nature. And we have the prayer box up here. Again, the heart of unity. And we pray over these prayers for 30 days, and then we send them to Silent Unity. It's been a tradition for over 25 years in Unity. So let us have an opening prayer. Take a breath and relax, release any anxieties, any Sunday morning rushing around. Release any thoughts of separation. Oh, release any thoughts that you are not the whole perfect Christ within. Today's daily word is home blessing. And we were reminded that our home provides an energy of divine love in all who enter. Let us remember that our heart is our home. We have our homes wherever, and this welcoming, sacred space right here is a home for all of us. Oh, feel the energy of that love, sacredness, specialness. Whether we're decorated in beautiful light or just here in the middle of the week sitting in this space, let us feel being held in this space and bring that into your heart. It's there always, always. We are so grateful in this time of transition that we've been finding our wholeness, our healing, and we express so much gratitude. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so it is. And now let us say our statement of being together. I am an individualized expression of God. I am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
As it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this world as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is sacred love. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this day as it is, go inside to find my God. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is more than enough. Inside there is peace. Inside there is joy. Inside there is sacred love. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. I will leave this life as it is, go inside to find my God. Go inside to find my God. I'll go inside to find my God.
Good morning. Yes. Let's close our eyes, kind of get comfortable, and notice our breath. Notice the flow of it. The subtle sensation of life entering our body in the form of oxygen and prana, or energy. Appreciating and being grateful for this life-giving process. Breath is like a subtle delight when we notice it. And let yourself be aware that there are others in the room breathing with you, experiencing this sensation. and feel the connection, the unity in that shared process. And realize that as we sit here consciously breathing, in the town all around us, people are breathing. Just in this state, there's over 1 million people breathing with us right now. $300 million in this country. And all around the world, 8 billion people are joining you right now in this breath, in this breathing. We are all so fundamentally connected and linked. How many trillions of animals, trillions upon trillions, even insects, are breathing with us right now? And somehow, quite perfectly orchestrated, the plants are breathing in the CO2 we release and out the oxygen we need. And so there's a deep kinship and connection with them. And let us take a moment now in silence to just appreciate and have great gratitude for this embrace we all share. And as we bring our attention back to this room and to what's going on this morning, to the music that's about to come our way, let us just give some notice to the breath that continues to fill us with life. Thank you.
You will do amazing things with the choice each new day brings, and with every step you take, bless the progress that you make. The reason you live is there in every gift you give. Love your life, love your dreams. You will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing. You will do amazing things. Amazing, you will do amazing things. Oh, the places you will go, and the people you will know, will be when or where or how. You don't need to know that now. You're on the right track. No need to look ahead or back. Just enjoy what this day brings. You will do amazing things. Amazing. Amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing. You don't have to work it out. Just stay in the here and now. Let your mind rest for a little while. Time's the deepest answers come when you're out there having fun. So close your eyes and take a breath and smile. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things. Amazing, amazing, you will do amazing things.
Tam the magician. I probably told him that 20 minutes ago. Of course, I really wanted to call it Notes to Myself on How to Talk to People Who Just Don't Get It. But I was told that wasn't a good idea. Jeannie kind of thumped me on the back of the head. Said, no, can't do that. I need this podium to hide behind. Not much of the hide behind podium, is it? But I'm going to try to follow some notes. That's going to be my attempt. And, we live in a country today which is often considered to be divided. Have you heard that term? Anyone? Yeah. Maybe just someplace here or there, a little mention of it. We're either part of the divide or we're trying to do something to heal it. Oftentimes, because of our beliefs and our attitudes and our feelings, we probably are part of the problem. Okay, I'm talking to myself here. This is a talk about me. Okay, my notes to myself. So sometimes I'm part of the problem because I have some beliefs. Some of them I feel pretty strongly about. Some of them I'm very concerned about. But the discourse in this country is breaking down on many levels. It happens in families. It happens across socioeconomic divides, racial divides. It's happening on all kinds of levels. And so as I tried to find a topic for today, I kept coming back to this because it seems to be a huge problem. And how do we agree to disagree in a way that works? Because we can't really just give up our beliefs. That isn't a solution. And diversity is not antithetical to unity. In fact, it's the whole point. If God wanted a whole lot of Jeannie McGee's or Chris Johnson's or, anybody, He would have made us all like that. Would have put us all in the same town, put us all with the same houses. We would all be driving the same car. We would certainly all be voting the same. There'd be one party, sort of the communist way. But He didn't do that, did He? However we became created, and whatever your philosophy about that is, we are all unique and different. Individualized expressions of God. Yeah, if I got that exactly right. But, so we aren't going to change that, and we shouldn't try to. We can't convince people, okay, see it my way, and everything will be okay. Well, it's true sometimes, but but that's not going to work. And in fact, if you really look at the political divide and you look at the two sides, you will see that both of them resent the way they're looked at and talked to by the others. But a big part of this is digging in to your position. The more you dig in, the more you stay around the people who agree with you. As I sit here and look out today, I see a lot of friends. And I see a lot of people who would be friends if we had more time together. So it's pretty easy to talk here. But there's places where I could stand up to talk and I would immediately run into resistance. There would immediately be a challenge to everything that I said. So let's agree that the end of this talk, not to blow the ending or anything, but it's kind of the theme all the way through, it's the love. It's all about the love. The love is the answer. And once again, we had a little magic there. The love is the answer. But how do we translate love into action, into words, into attitudes when we're with someone who thinks that we're crazy, and we know they are, okay? How do we do that? Well, that's what I hope to address a little bit today. As I say, I'll be looking at my notes. One of the things that I think is interesting about the division politically today is the idea of the Russian meddling. They found now that there's about 140-some million people saw something online that was put there by Russians. So if we're on one side of the divide, we think they were, just helping the other side, not our side. But in fact, they were going in there and posting on both sides in order to create what? Division. Separation. Separation and unity are a problem. Diversity, not a problem. Separation is a problem. It's our fundamental bottom line problem in this world, is our sense of separation, of being isolated from others and even from ourselves oftentimes. Because the ourself that really matters the most is that self of oneness, of unity, of connection to everything. The self which automatically breathes This is at a physical level, along with everyone else on the planet. So, love is the answer. Thank you very much. It's been a wonderful time. Okay, I was looking at the golden rule when I started doing this because that's kind of basic. There's a dozen different golden rules around the world probably, or at least 4 or 5. There's some posted in the other room. And I came up with a slightly different version of the American golden rule, which the American one is, do unto others as you would have them do unto you, which is a good rule. It would prevent a lot of problems, wouldn't it? But in communication, I think we need to go a little bit more deeper and personal. Be with others as you would have them be with you. If you want people to listen, I'm sorry, but you're going to have to listen. When they say things that you hate, you're going to have to listen. If you want, because the point of communication, and nonviolent communication, you learned this early on. That's on Tuesday night also, by the way. In nonviolent communication, the point of communication is connection. And connection is the only way to overcome separation, not convincing. Convincing from our position, trying to convince them to their, from their position to our position, is a battle. And it's futile. It keeps digging each side in deeper and deeper. So be unto others as you would have them be. If you want them to be open, be open. If you want them to check their facts and make sure that they're coming from an intelligent place, well, do that. If you want their beliefs to have a profoundly positive effect on the world, make sure yours do. Right? So be unto others, or be with others as you would have them be with you. To me, that's kind of a beginning point. And we do need to check our opinions. We have plenty, don't we? There's an old saying that opinions are like, well, belly buttons is the nice answer. Everybody has one, okay? That's the church morning answer, is belly buttons. But in a point of fact, we have a lot more than a belly button. If we had as many belly buttons as we had opinions, we'd be just walking around with little dimples everywhere. And there'd be dimples on dimples, wouldn't there? All an opinion is a belief. And our beliefs are often based in some pretty silly things. What our parents believed, well, that's good. Maybe they had some wisdom to share with us as a starting point. But we have to start looking at what we believe from within ourselves. And when we start forming opinions about things out there, about where we want to go to church or what we want to vote on, or what we think is the right way to handle people on drugs, whatever it is, we need to look at our own process. How did we arrive at this opinion? Do we believe it just because everybody around us believes it? Or are we willing to look at what we believe? The people in this room, there's a lot of commonality of belief, but there's some separation too. There's some definite differences. That's okay. There's some diversity. So let's pay attention to our beliefs. Are they coming from within us, from our own truth? Do they match with our deepest core values? If we say we believe in love, do the beliefs that we're holding and espousing foster love? If we believe in openness, do the beliefs we're holding foster openness and expansion? Or do they narrow us down and make us more tight? Now, I'm asking you to look at this for whom? Everybody on the other side of your beliefs, right? No. That wasn't it. For yourself. For yourself. We may see that other people aren't doing this in some ways. That's okay. They're on their path, and they're in their own place. So, real listening takes respect. It takes curiosity. It takes a genuine openness. So if we're going to respect others, we have to look beyond what their beliefs are, or even how we think they arrived at them, or even the fact that we think they're crazy. We have to go beyond that. They are one with us. If we argue with them, we're arguing with ourselves. And nobody in here would do that, right? Okay, maybe now and then. Like half the day, probably, for most of us. At least for me. Okay, I'm talking to myself here, aren't I? I almost forgot there for a minute. I argue with myself a bit. Okay? How productive is that? No. Non-productive. Pretty continuously and consistently non-productive. It's about going deeper than that and finding an answer. And when we really connect to others as ourselves, then we're in a place where we can really connect to others, aren't we? We can see beyond their beliefs. We can see beyond what we want to judge them as. And then we're open to the possibility of curiosity. If we think a person's ideas are crazy, unlike our own, we can explore how they got those ideas. Where did they come from? What path did they take? It's the old put on their moccasins for a mile sort of thing. Put on the moccasins and then see. What I've found is, I think some people are pretty crazy. Okay, that's true. I do. It comes to me that way. It pops into my head. And then I look at their lives as I can see them and as I understand them and as I listen to them and try to hear what they're saying and where they're coming from. I realize that the difference between them and me is that I happen to be over here in this situation, and they happen to have been born there and gone through all of those things and have a whole different view of life. And if I had gone through that whole process, walked a whole lifetime in their moccasins, would I believe any differently than they? Quite possibly not. Quite possibly not. So it's something to think about. Being curious is a good way to be able to listen and hear and to appreciate, to try on the moccasins. As far as openness goes, again, if we want them to be open, they have to feel our openness. If someone comes yelling at you or someone comes at you with an opinion that they will not let go of no matter what, how ready are you to let go of your opinion? No? Not so much? No. We're not going to do that. Again, you're just entrenching things. So, openness is vital. And when I say openness, I mean really openness. Let's remember the difference. This is an important distinction. If you haven't noticed it, I want to point it out to you. I am right versus I'm right about this. You see, there's things that we feel we're right about. But that's not the same as I am right. When we say, I am right, we inculcate that into ourselves. We make that part of who we are. It's egoic. It's the ego saying, I am right. Now, if you think about the ego's reason for being, the reason exists, the ego exists for the purpose of protection. It says, you're in this little body, walking in front of this bus, bad idea. Let's don't do that. In fact, let's turn around and run the other way while there's still time. Okay, that's a pretty valuable function of the ego. But the ego is not terribly brilliant. It's got some good ideas. It does some good things here and there. But it's not real bright. So once it says, I am something, it will now protect that the same way it protects life. I am right means that anybody challenging your rightness, they better duck, because they're going after you. They're trying to get me right then and there, trying to kill me off. This is why people kill each other over card games. Or they get into bloody fights and brawls at soccer games. Okay? Because they've identified with something so strongly that the ego is not differentiating between their life and a threat to it and its team or its ideas. So if a person is in that position, you have a responsibility to not be in that position if you can. Because that's the only way you start to close the divide. You can't push on them. You can't call them stupid. You can't, just be aggressive with them. You can't prove to them they're wrong. Proving to them they're wrong just means they'll go further and further away from the facts and realities of things, if in fact they are wrong. Maybe we're not always right. Who here thinks they're right all the time? Just me? Dave raised his hand. Okay. In a way, we kind of do, don't we? I mean, we kind of know that we might not be right, but we justify it if we think we're wrong, so that we're right all the time. Pretty hard to argue with us sometimes, too, isn't it? So being open is about releasing this egoic idea. I am right. Leads to a very egoic, solid position, an unchanging fact or reality that then needs protection. I'm right about this. Yeah, I think so. But an openness to always exploring, could I be more right? Could I be missing something? Nobody has the whole big picture. So nobody has it all right. That's why the two-party system is kind of a sensible solution in our country. It kind of makes sense as long as you can talk with each other. Because we need the balance. We need other people's viewpoints. We need that. To understand life, we need to see that and feel that and get it. Because everybody matters. We matter too, of course, but not at the expense of everyone else. So one leads to pride and protection, the other leads to humility and openness. I think I may be right about this. And as I said before, the purpose of communication is connection. We may not convince people. They might have their beliefs just as strongly as they did before. But how do we get so separated from people? Whether it's in violence or whether it's just simply the violence of not being able to tolerate them, just disbelieving them, thinking they're crazy. What does this require? It requires that we dehumanize them. We identify them. Now the ego starts to identify them with what they believe, with what they're saying, with what they're doing. But deeper than that, they are the same truth that we are. When we connect with someone, they start to see things differently. They start to feel differently. even if they hold on to their old ideas. You can't change that, maybe ever. Some cases they may change spontaneously. But you're not trying to win minds. You're trying to win hearts. That's the key to it, is continually remembering that love is the answer. Yeah. Stole my whole thing there, Tam. Oh, that was beautiful. It was, no, it was beautiful. It was perfect support for what I wanted to say. And I've been thinking a lot about it in terms of kindness. Kindness is just a form of love which we can address to ourselves and to others, in which we are accepting of them as they are, in which we offer to them what we have. What if we came to people and offered them what we have humbly? What if we said to them, I feel your sensations. I feel what you're going through. I hear how you feel about this. And I love you. Another point that I wanted to make, sometimes ideas really bother us because they're so antithetical. It isn't, somebody can believe anything they want for me. I'm pretty good about that. Until I think it's dangerous. If I think their beliefs are dangerous to themselves or to me, then it's harder to stay disinvolved. It's harder to say, yeah, okay, I have 3 kids. My son is the only one who's ever gotten involved with addiction problems. And I was fortunate in a couple of ways. I was able to simply love him and support him. I didn't lecture him. I didn't tell him, don't do that. I didn't tell him to do this or do that. I just loved him and supported him. And because he knew he could come to me for that, he would come to me. One day he drove, I was living in Arizona, he drove down and he said, Dad, I think I'm an alcoholic. I said, well, if you are, that's your first big step. Admitting it, pretty profound. But what I really offered him, I'm sure I responded to that, but the main thing I did was love him and accept him as he was. And I was fortunate because I didn't have to meddle. I don't know why. I was lucky about that. I didn't have to try to lecture or prove or push or force or control. I was willing to let him find his way. And the other very lucky thing is he did. Not to say he doesn't have any problems, but he's doing well. He's got 2 kids and lovely friends and family, and he's a very, productive and reliable and consistent worker and a very loving person. I can't take responsibility for that, but at least I didn't screw it up. And sometimes we do that because we think we know best. And with children, sometimes we do. When they're little, you can't run in the street. You just can't run in the street. That's non-negotiable. But as they grow, their problems become more complicated, and our way of trying to deal with them becomes much more challenging. And when they become adults and fixed in many of their ways of looking at things, we really only have one way to go, and that is through kindness and love, through opening. Thank you for your time. Really enjoyed being with you this morning, and I hope it was useful. It was my notes to myself, but I got carried away and actually offered them to you, so thank you.
Yeah, actually, this song was in the mix last week, and I had to take it out because of our cornucopia service. Our experience which was great, but lengthy. But I thought, hey, I'm going to put it back in this week because I know Chris is involved in oneness, and I thought it was a good song to go along with that group. So. If God had a name, what would it be, and would you call it to his face? If you were faced with him, and if God had a face, what would it look like, and would you want to see? If seeing meant you'd have to look in the mirror. And yeah, God is great. And yeah, God is good. And yeah. What if God is one of us, sitting right here next to us, or a stranger on the bus trying to make her way home? If God's near at hand, wouldn't you want to reach out and acknowledge that presence? Make what connection you can. And what if God has a plan, so pure in its essence, and the plan is to grow, to be the best you can be? And yeah, God is great. And yeah, God is good. And yeah. What if God was one of us, like a stranger on a bus, sitting right here next to us? Oh, the ones we left at home. What if God is all of us? Every person on the bus, every person in this room, oh, the ones we left back home. No separation, no alone. No separation, no alone. No separation, no alone. Thank you.
As you would be unto yourself. Now, that I know of, right is not a 12 power, right? We remember there's understanding, and there is a judgment, but it comes from the Christ nature, you all, and there's always love. So Chris, thank you. That was a beautiful message. So let us come down and give our gifts, and we'll let's go ahead and bring forward, and I'll bless it, and then we. I like to.
That's not right.
I like to bless it. I do want to say one thing though. This is in the newsletter. we are working to erase our debt. We don't have, it's not a really big debt, and I'm going to post it somewhere in the building, but I've been doing it in the newsletter. And we want to erase that debt by 2019 if we can. And it's not insurmountable. Well, it started out as 2,800, and we're already about, 850 into that. So it would be really wonderful to start our new year just clean and fresh. So I invite you all to think about that in the month of December as we wind up the new year. So let us all say together, divine love as me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive.
If I was created by a supernatural being, I am grateful. I am grateful. And if I'm a result of some big bangy thing, I am grateful. I am grateful. The truth, when it comes down to it, it's not the why or how of it, it's just what is, and this is it, and I am grateful. I'm grateful for the air I breathe and for all the things that I receive, and I'm grateful for the acts of kindness others have afforded me. I am grateful. I'm so grateful. I am grateful.
What's important that's coming up?
What is important? Well, we are continuing to collect the twin-size bedding and house slippers. This is going to be ongoing through December 9th. For our house.
So that's 2 Sundays that we have to do this, right?
2 more Sundays.
Okay.
And if for those of you who wish not to go shopping, would like me to be your shopper, I'm happy to do that. If you'd like to see me afterwards, I'm happy to do your shopping for you. And then, yes, like I said, there's a box back there to put them in. But I think I'm going to start putting them under the tree if that's okay. Would that be okay? And it looks really nice to have a full tree. Did you think that looked nice?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Great. And also for a while today, I got a note from my daughter who was working at Children's Hospital. The hats were delivered. I want to thank, of course, Jim for his 2 wonderful cowboy hats that he donated to the kids. And I want to thank Pat and Walter, and I want to thank Kathy Hardy and anybody else who made hats. Thank you so much. 40 hats were delivered today to our.
Wow.
And on that note, there is a big basket of yarn back there in the foyer. Please help yourself to any and all of that. As of the new year, I'm going to actually look for probably a local school to donate it to so that it can keep giving. It doesn't do any good to just sit here. We just need to keep that flow going and be prosperous about that. Today you'll be in the prayer chapel, that you'll
Yes.
meet people in the
Yes.
back in the
Yes.
prayer chapel.
Yes, and it is potluck. And our potluck people are already in the kitchen doing things. But I really want to make a big mention to Jerry Blake. That is one of the best organized teams that we have going. Pat Montanas, Travis helps a lot. And y'all, it's one of the easiest teams to get on because it's so well run. And Jerry will tell you exactly what you need to do. And you won't have to do it every week because it's really well organized, right, Travis? So just wanted to thank her, and please notice how hard they work in there.
And Pat Walter would like to have an announcement.
Okay.
I just wanted to announce that we're having consecration of the prayer chaplains next week, so we invite you all to be here for the service. It's going to be a very special day for all of us, and we hope you join with us. And there'll be some other changes, but it's also the month of Advent, so we have 4 Advent candles on the piano for people.
Right. Yes, we want to remind you of the metaphysical interpretation of Christmas. And that brings me a little bit to the newsletter. I just couldn't resist. I ran across a good Bible quote, and I turned it into a metaphysical interpretation about gratitude, because it talked about how faith and gratitude go together. And faith without the gratitude is not as powerful. And so, y'all, I'm really trying to beef up the newsletter, and I'm doing, extra little things like that. We're going to include a prayer of the month to suggest for prayer, and I want to include talking about people, but I'm only human, and I need y'all's feedback, and I need your suggestions. And if you want to contribute a very short little blurb about anything, please contact me so that it can be our newsletter, not just for one person all the time. So. Okay. Oh, okay. And it is always on the Unity Facebook page. And if you're not, if you go to the website, you can sign up for the newsletter again if you haven't been getting it. But you can always get it on the Facebook page. So, well, let us come together for our closing prayer and song.
Light of God surrounds us. I am the light. Love of God entwirls us. I am the love. Power of God protects us. I am the power. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence. Leaders and all of the Let there be peace on earth.